Hello everyone, we have just released version 1.5 of the FixedIT Data Agent, and we wanted to make a quick video showcasing the newly added features. Starting with the Create Config button here under Configuration, this button will allow us to create an empty configuration file directly in the camera instead of having to upload one. So if we just create and set the name to test, we'll see that it created a file here, and if we open it, the content is empty. And this is particularly useful in combination with the other newly added feature, the edit mode. If you click here on edit, once you have expanded the content of a file, it will enter edit mode, and then you are able to change the contents of the file. And this can be used, for example, when you don't have your configuration file locally and you don't want to upload it, you want to copy and paste the content from somewhere else, like for example, GitHub. If we want to just copy this content and paste it here, we can do that very quick and easy. We have also added 4 new Telegraf plugins that can be used in the configuration files. The first one is the template serializer, and then we've also added 3 new processors, clone, enum, and regex. And starting with the template serializer, we have an example prepared here to show the benefit of it, but essentially what it allows you to do is to use a template to define the output format of a metric. And this can be really handy when you want to, for example, send a request to an API and it expects a particular format for the body. And in this example, we are using one of the Twilio APIs to send an SMS to my phone, and we are formatting the body here with the to and from and body fields for the message. So if I just enable this here, I should be getting an SMS really soon. There we are. Hopefully you can see. And we can see that we are using information from our metrics as part of the body in the message. Next up, we have the clone processor, which, as the name indicates, allows you to clone metrics. And this is particularly useful when you want the same metric to get to 2 processors without going through any other processor beforehand. So in this example, we are just creating a really simple metric and then cloning it. And we have added a standard output so we can see it in the logs. So I'll enable this, and we should see the original metric and the clone. Yep, here we are. We have our test metric and the test metric clone. Next up, we have the enum processor, which allows you to map one set of values to another. So for example, here we have a really simple metric which just has status OK, and then we are mapping those string values like OK and error to a numeric value. So if we just enable that, we should see a metric with status OK and status code 200. There we are, status OK, status code 200. And lastly, for the processors, we have the regex processor, which allows you to extract structured information from a string using pattern matching. So in this example, we just have a simple metric with a message saying user Alice action logging status success. But we want to parse the user action and status and have them as their own fields. So we are using the regex processor to do just that. And again, we are outputting it to the standard output. So we should be able to see it here in the logs. And here we go. The message is the entire string. And then we have status, user, and action. Lastly, for the features added in version 1.5 is the refresh button on the custom UI files page. And this can be useful to refresh one single custom UI file rather than having to refresh the entire page. For example, here we have one of our custom UI files, and we are getting some information from the parameters, but the parameters of the application can also be changed from the settings. So if they are changed here and this is not up to date, the information shown here will be outdated. For example, if I enable debug mode here, debug mode still shows as disabled here. But if I just refresh the page here, we'll see the up-to-date version. This was all for the newly added features in version 1.5 of the FixedIT Data Agent. Thank you so much for watching, and if you are interested, feel free to reach out to us and we can give you a demo license so you can try it out for yourself.